Okay, it's recording, sir. Okay. Alright. Okay, this is Ty Hatfield.
I'm Glenn Mitchell.
And he is awesome. So, we're going to work on a couple things today. Mostly, my good friend Ben wanted me to take over some different kinds of stuff, and I have another friend of mine that wants me to go over a couple of different things. So I thought that I would go over actually probably just the first part, and we haven't even worked on anything. I haven't even told him what I was going to be doing. So it's kind of just on the spur of the moment. I just came out. I got done with dinner and called him up and said, well, why don't you come down? I'll get y'all,
Work some food off.
Get some food off of him, and we would work on a couple moves for you guys. So one of the questions that you guys had was dealing with the wrestler, kind of some things that you would actually do, some of the things that are really important. And I think the main thing that's important is teaching you guys how to sprawl. And it would be the same way as when you would do a front fall. So kind of do a front fall, show them a front fall. So boom. But the biggest thing is you're going to be actually shooting in on the guy, and he will sprawl his legs out, putting pressure on you. And then I like to do a lot of different things. So I'm going to just show you the techniques, and then you can put everything together. I'll kind of like working on some stuff. A lot of times when a guy shoots in on me, I need to make sure that I bring my legs back. I'm a lot bigger than when I'm right here. I bring my legs back, and I want to make sure that when I do this, I like to go to the side of him. So he'll kind of come in really, really slow, and I can actually redirect him. But as he comes in, I turn my leg back, and then it'll actually bring me down. A lot of times when I bring the guy down, my disruption is actually where I hit the top of his head. So if he's right here, just kind of on your hands right there. So stop right there. And he has his hands up kind of. He's actually coming in on me. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm hitting the back of his head. And I'm hitting and I'm turning this underneath so that I can get certain types of things. A lot of times, this can set up arm drags. You can set up a lot of different kinds of moves from here where I can go to front quarters. Front quarters can lead into arm locks. Doing actually, this going to here, pulling this by, this is going to lead into a lot of like different kinds of positions from right there. There are a lot of the same types of things that you already know. One of the things that I really like is just getting the guys so that they practice from right here, chopping on the head, redirecting over the top, and then pulling that guy by. That's really important. So as you do that, you're sprawling, you're chopping on the top, and you simply go over the top, reach in on the arm, and then you're going to pull it by. That'll work all the time. It's just that as you practice things, you'll be able to get them down really, really well. The thing about anybody that's doing takedowns, the hardest thing to counter a takedown is when you're in the air. So when you're on the ground or when you're in a position where your feet are on the ground, you have chances to do counters, but that's why a lot of guys like in MMA and stuff, they say, well, Chuck Liddell or these certain guys are really, really amazing with their grappling defense. But for one, a lot of guys that are in that aren't really great grapplers. Just because you're a jiu-jitsu black belt, that doesn't mean you're an awesome wrestler. A Division II compared to Division I wrestler, or even a state champion from certain state comparative to another state, big differences. And I think a lot of times it's just the coaching, and it's the differences that they have that will make or break different kinds of careers for different people. The thing that I would do with a BJ Penn or any of those guys is you need to know that it's hard to take down somebody when he is punching you or kicking you or kneeing you, and then he's using all these defenses to stop you from being able to do that. And that's why in real life it's a lot different than actually sport or play. It's not a game. It's not something that has rules. And so I know that my friend that actually asked me about this, he's a Des En Rue guy, and in Des En Rue Jiu-Jitsu, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going to poke his eyes out, I'll rip his throat out, I'll break his back, I will break his arms and collarbone, and I use pressure points, and it's an amazing, amazing art. But back on the point, the biggest thing is I think going over the top of the head, and when you're right here, kind of when you can look right here, when I hit the back of the head, I'll hit that head really, really hard. Just like if I'm going to be breaking a brick. And I think, you know, the guy actually shoots in, the main thing that you need to be concentrating on is your breathing, making sure that, you know, when someone actually hits you, you breathe out, you know how to breathe. Breathing out and hitting is really, really powerful. And for that disruption is just really, really good. And the way we look at it is it's actually circles, disruption, and dropping your level. And that's, you'll find that in everything. If a guy yells at me, whatever happens. So the main thing that I wanted you to look at was when this guy actually shoots in on me, I sprawl, but I'm chopping and I'm driving this over the top right here. So it comes underneath, I'm going here, I don't go with my thumbs ever, my hands come in, and what I'm doing is I'm stepping out and I'm pulling behind. It's like what I'm doing, a lot of times I'll teach my guys to step here and then sweep around. So it's just a step, sweep. And that'll help you so you can sweep around them. So come over here. So when I'm in here and he comes in to here, I'm chopping here. I'm trying not to be real hard. I'm chopping, pushing. As I push on his head, one of the things that's kind of funny, if you look, I turn around. As a body mechanic thing, if I push on his head, a lot of times the guy never brings his arm with him. What he's doing is, if he's trying to get me and I push on his head, he's pulling his arms out to grab me. That's true, right, sir?
Hey.
So, because of that, because I know that, because it's just the way that it goes, I know that I have manipulations, arm locks, many, many, many things to do from that position. So it's in your best interest to see from what I do, from that redirection, that will lead me into different kinds of moves. What I would say is, work on those things, do your sprawling, chop, go over the top, drag, but in that movement, when you push on the head or you go over the top, look and see what that arm's doing, because you can pick up arm locks, pick up different elbow locks, ankle, wrist locks. There's a lot of different things that you can do from there. One of the things that I do that I really like, and I'm going to do it from this angle, then I'm going to turn it around, is, and here's how you okay. So what happens is, even though I've actually done that, maybe I've been right here and I chopped and I came around, but yet he actually came around my leg. And I'm in here, I'm in a whizzer. I have my legs back, but he's real strong. He's pulling my arm in, my leg in, my arm's caught kind of here. What I want to do from this position is I have this to drive off of, and what I do is I bring this down so I sit on top of his forearm. And what happens, he can't pull out his forearm. And I can make it so that I pick it up or I can do whatever I want with it. But in this movement, I'll actually take this as a power half and I'll roll him over. What happens is this arm gets caught kind of in an Americana situation in Jiu-Jitsu. What I'll do is I'll reach underneath, pull his arm up, and from this position right here I have a full Nelson with action Americana. He can't actually do anything. I could be punching him. He physically can't kick me, hit me, do anything. So, I mean, it's really, really bad. And I think that's a really, really good move. So, I'm going to do it on this other side. And just doing the move, but he comes around and he catches this leg. It's kind of getting more. So, he's right here. He's usually got this one in on this leg, or he's driving across, he's doing something. I got this leg back, so I've got to have this leg back. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to push on the back of his head, come underneath this, and I put my hand on top of here. I'm going to show you this in the front so you can see it too. But I'm going to push this over, and I keep it actually behind his head. That will actually block his arm from coming out. It actually keeps it locked. Then I can bring this up, slide my arm in, I can pull it over. It's doing actually a can opener, or a type of a position where it's pulling down on the spine really, really bad. You've got a full Nelson on there. One-handed, so you have everything you can do. You can pull your gun, shoot other people. I mean, look around, see what's happening, and I think that's a really good thing. So there's just a couple different ideas. So that's what I wanted to talk about with you. There's other kinds of things, and so if you tell me that you need to work on this type of takedown or this kind of position, I will show you positions from that position. But it's up to you to tell me. So, thank you, sir. So, thank you, guys.